Hello, and welcome to a new episode of Leadership Trail Mix. I was never into crafts. As you may recall, I do love music. I play the piano, I can get a few chords out of the guitar. But when it comes to what we would call in Portuguese artes plásticas, which refers to things like painting, sculpting, and carving, that has never been my thing. Actually, a lot of things have never been my thing until I met my husband Jim a couple of years ago and was kicked out of my comfort zone in a beautiful and loving way that truly makes me a better and braver human being. I parasailed, I went scuba diving, I hiked, I camped. One of the gifts that my marriage with Jim brought to me was the connection with his dad Jack, his stepmom Linda, and some friends of theirs, including Elaine and Claudia, who are their neighbors up in the Buena Vista area. In my last visit to them, I had the opportunity to spend time with Elaine. She's so good at crafts. So good. She has a little studio in her front yard that we call her pot shop. And there she does pottery, curves flutes, kitchen tools, burns things. She's fantastic. And she was patient and kind enough to accept my self-invitation to go to her house and try something crafty. I got there and had such an amazing time working with wood and carving a letter opener for myself. And as it often happens, the feelings I felt, the things I thought, and the experience I lived during that time fed my imagination and became the reflection I'll share with you today. Today's reflection connects to many other Leadership Trail Mix reflections, especially to one of the first ones on uniqueness, and also on a few others on feedback. So, let me paint the picture for you. There I was, with a small piece of wood in my hands, no idea of what tools to use to carve what I wanted, actually not even a clear idea of what I wanted to carve. It was a long process. It took me about 3 hours to get from the piece of wood to my letter opener. I had to use so many tools that I had never seen or heard of before. They were specific for each stage of the carving process. Big tools that allow me to take big chunks of wood all at once, and others that require me to treat that piece of wood almost as if I was carving a grain of rice. I thought I would fail. At times I thought about giving up. And at times, because of my lack of expertise, I could see those around me getting anxious and trying to help by describing how they would do it. I listened, welcomed all the feedback, and even tried to do things their way at times. But there was something about finding my own way in that space that I couldn't let go of, so I didn't. And here are the lessons I learned from it. Number 1, there is something powerful about spending time doing work with our hands. More than powerful, there is something peaceful about doing work with our hands. While I was there carving the opener, it was almost as if time stopped for a while and the many voices inside of me silenced. If you haven't tried it, either ever or for a long time, I strongly recommend that you give it a go. Number 2, which is very much related to number 1, building something with our hands creates such a powerful sense of pride. I felt that way before when I went fishing for the first time a couple of years ago with Jim and his dad. I caught the fish, I cleaned the fish, I ate the fish. There's something special there, and I felt a very similar feeling when doing this woodwork. I'm actually looking at my letter opener right now and smiling. The third thing I was reminded of, and now we are getting to the leadership space and leadership analogies that I found in this process, was the power of psychological safety. I was surrounded by people that I love and that I care and that I treasure, and I knew I didn't have to try to be perfect. I knew I could screw it up, break something, or just leave with the worst letter opener the world had ever seen. Those people around me would not humiliate me or diminish me because of that. That is the true meaning of psychological safety that Amy Edmondson was talking about when she coined the term. Number 4, the same principle that requires you to use specific tools for different steps of the carving journey applies to leading people. As I've mentioned so many times before, I truly don't believe that one size fits all, and I do believe that when we try to make one size fit all, we are indirectly telling people that they don't matter. And I don't think I need to expand much on what happens when we feel like we don't matter, right? So, understanding the people we lead and utilizing the right management and leadership tools for where they are on their journey is crucial if you really want to grow people and support their development and success. The fifth thing I learned relates to the multi-generational workforce challenges many of us are currently facing. It was very interesting for me to have the urge to respectfully ignore other people's ways of doing things and stick to my own. And that really connects to something I heard from Brené Brown recently. During an interview to the New York Times, she said a lot of amazing and insightful things as usual. And on working across generations, especially Gen Zers, she said, and here I quote, "What I've noticed about this generation, they are not doing anything without the why. Why are we doing it that way? Why is that going to be helpful? And people my age are looking for a little yes, chef action. No, these kids are not interested. They want to know the why. I like it because when you give them the why through your gritted teeth, they're like, so let me play back what you're saying. You want me to get this data for you by 3 o'clock this afternoon because you are going to use it in a meeting with these people? Is that right?" And you're like, "Yes, damn it." And they're like, "I think you're asking for the wrong data. You need a whole different set of data if that's what you're trying to do at 5 o'clock. And that's helpful. So with the right skills, good task conflict leads to innovation and ideation and smart things. The problem is that without the right skills, task conflict becomes emotional conflict. And then people don't like each other. They blame each other. They're having meetings outside the meetings. All this stuff that just tears teams and organizations apart. It's a lack of skill to straddle tension and stay in it and be productive with it. That's the problem, not the generations." End quote. And mic drop. And nothing else to say here. So moving on to number 6, I was reminded of the power of positive feedback. The amount of compliments I got from Elaine, from Claudia, from Jim, from Linda, and even from Jack really made me confident, made me want to try it again. Is my letter opener the most perfect and amazing wood-carved tool that you ever see in your life? I can assure you, definitely not. But those people understood and acknowledged that that was my first time. And for a first time, it was indeed a good letter opener. So the question for me is, are we setting the right expectations for success? Or are we expecting a first-time woodcarver to do work similar to an 18th century artist? And because of these expectations, are we taking the time to celebrate what's right, to provide enforcement through positive feedback? As my friend Scott Cochran says, we have to catch people doing it right. And we have to tell them. Our call to action is up to you. Out of the 6 lessons or reminders I got from this experience, which of them do you believe would have the most impact on your ability to be the best people leader you can be for them, but also for yourself? Let me repeat the 6 lessons for you. Number 1, there is something powerful and peaceful in doing craft work. Number 2, there is a sense of pride in these small accomplishments. Number 3, psychological safety makes the difference. Number 4, one size doesn't fit all, so we need a robust kit of management and leadership tools to meet people where they are on their journey. Number 5, generations are not the problem. The lack of skills to handle tension and be productive is the problem. And finally, number 6, catch people doing something right and tell them. That's all. If you know anyone who can benefit from this reflection, please feel free to share it. And if you have thoughts or questions about this episode, or about anything else really, you can always send me an email, miguel@leadershiptrailmix.com. Thank you for listening, take care, and talk soon.